Hey there, Treasure Hunt fans. Your old pal Big D back here again with another Star Trek Discovery update. This would be episode 15, the season finale, which was titled Will You Take My Hand? This episode kind of brought a close all the stories that they had been working on for the last 15 episodes, and it launched us off into something that was really sweet when they popped it up at the end of the episode. So in this episode now, of course, as you remember from last episode, Discovery got back to their prime universe, and it'd been 9 months into the future at this point. The Klingon Empire is essentially winning the war and just about ready to win the war. They're sending an armada to Earth to attack Earth, to kind of just conquer us. And there's not much left of the Federation. Federation's been backed into a corner. There's not much left. Remember also they brought over Captain Giorgio, or excuse me, Emperor Giorgio from the alternate universe. And they had hashed a plan in that last episode. In this episode, they decided to go ahead and start the plan. The biggest thing was that Captain Giorgio is the captain of the Discovery. Their whole plan is to use the spore device to jump into these caverns that are inside Kronos. There are these caverns that were formed by lava many millions of years ago that are now dormant. At least some of these caves were dormant, and it was large enough to actually put Discovery to jump into. You could hang in there. So the whole plan is for them to jump into there, and then an away team go in and set off this device that was going to map all the terrain underneath Kronos, so they could use it as a way to do some damage to Kronos in order to have them pull back to give Federation time to kind of regroup. So the plan is instigated. The plan is put into effect. They do spore drive and jump right into the center of the planet, basically, in one of those caverns. And then Giorgio takes Berman, Tyler, and Tilly with her onto that portion of the planet to find a way into this cavern. To be able to plant it's a mapping device. So the part of Kronos they went to was a part of Kronos that I thought was very interesting. It was given to the Orions. So this one area was controlled by the Orions on Kronos, which I thought was rather interesting, and I'd never seen anything like that before. So it was rather interesting. It was kind of funny because when they go down into that area, it very much looks like kind of like a Mos Eisley Cantina, only worse. We get to see Orion slave girls again, which we haven't seen in really since Enterprise. We get to see, basically the Orions, man, they're pretty sneaky. They're pretty skanky, that's for sure. So their whole point was they were going to split off and try to get some information about where to get into these caverns to put this mapping device. So they all take off on their own separate ways. Berman and Tyler go to play a game, a Klingon game that Tyler doesn't know how to play because of Voke's memories that are still in him. So he plays that, trying to find the information. Captain Giorgio takes an Orion slave girl and an Orion slave guy. Yes, they have Orion slave guys. Takes them in to have a little romantic interlude. And meanwhile, Tilly's just sitting there with this mapping device. So she's sitting there. And there were several references to the original series in this episode. And this is one of the best references. It was, she sits down in Clint Howard, which we all remember Clint Howard from. Obviously, I mean, he was in the original series. Although he was little. He played Baylock on the Corberman Maneuver. And there he was kind of like whacked out, like almost like he's high. He got her to sniff this vape from the volcano, which kind of made her stoned, and she kind of passed out. It was actually really funny. I thought it was really awesome to bring him into the show. I mean, he's been in a couple other episodes. He was in an episode of Deep Space Nine. He was in an episode of Enterprise. But it was really cool to see an actual original series character, somebody that was on the original series, actually go over to Discovery. Now, yes, I know Harry Mudd, but that was a character. That wasn't the actual actor. This actual actor was actually in an original series episode. I just thought that was really awesome. So a couple of the throwbacks while they were on Orion, while they were on the Orion's little I don't know what you want to call it, their little hometown or whatever. There was a couple other references to other things in Star Trek. They talked about Mintakan 3, which was obviously in an episode of Next Generation. Captain Giorgio at one point had mentioned breeds and circuses, which was the title of an episode of the original series. And then the coolest one, and I thought it was the coolest one, was when they're walking down this one pathway, you see a line of these creatures that are going to be eaten, and it's the darn Seti eel from Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. I am not kidding you. I started screaming like a little kid when I saw it. I was like, oh, wait, there it is. It was the Seti eel, and people were eating it. I thought that was just like, wow, nice tie-in. I loved it. So the crew is off doing their thing. basically, Tyler gets nothing from playing the game other than it kind of terrified Berman a lot because she started having memories back of when she was a kid and her, and her parents that were killed because of Klingons in an attack. And so she started having these feelings and hearing them yell and roar and laugh and hoot and holler, stuff like that, because she was hiding when they came in. She told a story about, like, when they came in, they killed her father off relatively quickly. She was hiding. They tortured her mom for a long time, and then they killed her, and then they sat down and ate their dinner, which was the Berman's dinner, and laughed, and it was very post-traumatic there, very, very much so. Meanwhile, Tilly wakes up, freaks out, opens the case, and notices that the tracking device is not a tracking device, it's a bomb. So she freaks. She finds Berman and Tyler, and Berman and Tyler, of course, Berman, Tyler, and Tilly go back to the ship. Meanwhile, they go back to the ship to figure out what's going on with Saru. Not with Saru, but have him help out to figure out, because he is the first officer at this point because Giorgio is the captain. So, meanwhile, Giorgio has her little fling with the two Orions, and then beats the living daylights out of one to get, to torture him to get the information he needs to find where this outcropping, not really outcropping, but where this thing is, where she can put the device into to go underneath the thing and basically blow up the planet. So, essentially, when Berman goes back to the ship, she demands a conference with Admiral Cornwell. And while she's having the conference with Admiral Cornwell, she's like, "This is not This is not Starfleet. This is not what we're supposed to do. We're gonna kill off a major portion of the race. We're gonna kill a lot of people. For what? This is not what we do. This is not what we were founded by. This is not only who human beings. This is not the Federation. This is not how the Federation acts." And she was on the verge of doing mutiny again, which was going right back to the first episode. But this time, the difference was the rest of the crew was on her side, including Commander Saru. They were on her side because it was not what the Federation do. It's not what Starfleet would do. This is not the way to solve a conflict. There are other ways to solve this conflict. And oddly enough, Berman came up with a way. So what they did was they went down to the planet again and they found Giorgio. She'd already planted the bomb, but she had a pad in her hand with the code on it that she could hit and it would blow up. And basically, it would destroy Kronos. It would have been completely leveled and destroyed. And so she negotiated with Giorgio and said, "Look, we're going to give you your freedom. You can go. Just give us the pad. Do not do this. We don't want you to do this." And they went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Finally, they convinced her to give her the pad. And what they did was they brought L'Rell with them. And L'Rell, obviously, because she had been so integral with T'Kuvma and Voq and stuff like that through that whole process at the beginning of the series, they gave her the pad and said, "This is the way you can control the Empire. This is the way you can bring the Empire back into under one umbrella instead of being 24 different factions." So L'Rell did that. L'Rell went to the head of the Klingon Empire, the main council chamber, told her story. They all laughed at her because first off, she was already been ousted because of what happened with the Voq and T'Kuvma. But then she's also a female. But when she shows him the pad and says, "You're going to follow what I say or I'm going to bye," they all fall under not only do they all fall under her, she is now the supreme leader of the Klingon Empire. She pulled back all the Klingons and ended the war. So the war is over. They did it. They managed to do it without destroying many, many lives. And it was very much Star Trek. That's what Star Trek does. Star Trek finds ways out of problems without always having to use violence. And they did it. She did it. And they were able to spore drive back home. And they were back on Earth to a hero's welcome. They all got commendations, Starfleet's Medal of Honor, for all the work that they did. And the coolest thing, I knew this was going to happen. The coolest thing is that Berman's standing outside, because you don't know what's going to happen with Berman. I mean, she's still a traitor at this point. And Sarek walks up to her and lets her know that not only has she been pardoned, she's been given back her commission, she's been given back her command, and everything has been erased like it never happened. And he gave her back her comm badge, and she's now a commander again, which was amazing. It was completely awesome. The crew she was able to do a speech. It was a really good speech where she talked about exploring and boldly going when no one has gone before. It was very much the original series commentary at the beginning of the episode when they would do the credits. Very awesome, very cool. So at this point, they're back. They've been informed that although a couple of them were promoted, Tilly's now full ensign, which I predicted she'd be full ensign after this. Stamets is now Lieutenant Commander Stamets, not Lieutenant Stamets anymore. And everybody got award. You know, it was really kind of funny because some of the characters in the show, the helmsmen and the comm ops, stuff like that, they've been on the episodes. They really haven't done too much, but they were there. They got their awards, but nobody got the promotion except for Tilly and Stamets. Not even Saru, but then I thought about it. Saru was just promoted to first officer literally 9 months ago. You know, we'll start the timeline anyways, the way they're looking at it in the Prime universe. But 9 months ago, so he really hasn't. I don't know if he could warrant being a captain just yet, but I don't know. You know, never say never. So they decided that, of course, the crew gets all back on board, and they're told that they're going to take Sarek back to Vulcan, and at Vulcan they're going to get their new captain. So they get on the ship and they start to take off, and then this happens. Just watch.
It's the USS Enterprise.
Right? Oh my God, the USS Enterprise. When they coming in there, so they're all, we got a priority 1 distress call, and they brought it up, and you saw the little numbers above. It's all NCC-17. I'm like, what? And I knew it. And when that ship came out of the clouds and came down, I will admit, I started to tear up. I literally started to tear up. I was so excited and happy and just amazed and couldn't believe it. The USS Enterprise. Now it is under command of Captain Christopher Pike at this point. This is a few years before Kirk got the command, but we all know what that means, because when they realized what ship was coming in, they realized that when the comm officer said it's the priority 1 distress call, it's coming from a Captain Christopher Pike. The camera panned over to Sarek and to Berman, and they both looked at each other, and they both had a look on their face, and then they panned back over to Berman solely, and she's like, "It's the USS Enterprise." Spock is on that ship. I know he's on that ship. He was on that ship. He was in that ship on the cage. Went back and they redid it when they did the menagerie. Spock has got to be on that ship. He's a junior officer at this point. He's got to be there. And obviously that's the reason why Sarek and Berman were looking at each other, because they know what this means. I am so excited to see what this goes. I can't wait to see who they're going to cast as Captain Pike. I can't wait to see what they're going to do. The producer of the show said on Talk Trek afterwards that the Enterprise is going to be a pretty integral part of the next season, which I am overly excited about, because it's the USS Enterprise. We have not seen that ship on TV since the Deep Space Nine episode of Trials and Tribulations. It was many, many years ago. It was Enterprise. It's where it belongs. The best ship. I don't care what anybody says, and you can comment down below and tell me I'm an idiot, whatever. The Enterprise is the best starship ever created by Starfleet, the United Federation of Planets, TV, movies, I don't care what. The Enterprise is the best ship. Better than Millennium Falcon, better than damn Death Star, better than all that stuff. The USS Enterprise, you cannot go wrong with it. And the people that have commanded that ship, it's the best. I'm so excited. But that's how the episode ended. So, of course, another cliffhanger. You know, but, oh, man, completely amazing. Really good episode. Tied everything together. The war's officially over. Starfleet's back to exploring and stuff like that. And it's a really well acted, really well done episode. Hats off. Great season. Just unbelievably amazing. I am so excited. So well done. They managed to wrap everything up, and this is what Star Trek's all about. Straight up, this is what Star Trek is all about. Just dang. So with that being said, I will be doing one more Star Trek review, and that will be probably next week, where I'm going to discuss the whole season, kind of doing a whole arc and how things went and the ups and downs and things I foresee happening in the future, stuff like that. But I just want to do this episode just to get this out there, the last episode of the season. So that is it for this episode. Man, I don't know what to say, but just it's USS Enterprise, man. It's So, thank you all for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and thank you for watching all my Star Trek episodes. I know sometimes I ramble on a little bit, but you know what? It doesn't matter, because I love Star Trek. So that is it. Everybody take care. Thank you very much for watching this episode. If you liked the episode, please click the subscribe button at the top to get more episodes updates from old Big D here. And if you like the video, please click the like button below. Please leave me comments. I don't get a whole lot of comments just yet, so leave me comments. You know, let me know what you thought of the episode. Let me know what you thought of this season and stuff like that. What did you like? What you didn't like? And yeah, that's about it. Everybody take care. Always keep hunting. Remember, live long and prosper.